Welcome to a Leading Edge Trading Wednesday voice chat session. We do these every Wednesday after the close for free trial members and up, and every Tuesday for silver and up members. The reason we segregate them is because typically on Wednesdays with new people, we're going over a lot of the same things, beginner stuff, getting familiar. Once people join us in the silver room, excuse me, they typically have seen enough to be committed to, okay, let me learn how to do this. So the Tuesday sessions are more geared to the best way to apply the information, how to make a proper transition from taking notes to trading properly in demo. Yes, there is a proper way to do it, to trading live, to ramping up your size, etc. And that's the whole goal, or it certainly should be. If it isn't, you should ask yourself why it isn't, but the goal is to trade size. I don't care what market you're trading. I don't care what your time frame is. I don't care what your methodology is. I don't care what you're looking at or using or what you know or who you think you know. The goal should be to ramp up size. Why? You make money trading size, not by getting every little tick, not by hyper trading and trying to do more. That is a monumental waste of time. So the first premise here is that this is a professional trading environment. We have in-house traders, we have 4 levels of service, we have people committed to this, both to doing it and to teaching it. We are not for everyone. We don't profess to be for everyone. Why? Most people don't want to learn how the market works and don't want to learn how to trade it the way it is. They want to trade it the way they want to trade it. Say, okay, fine. That's like teaching yourself how to play pool or teaching yourself how to play golf. I mean, it's going to take you an inordinately long time to realize you probably don't have it figured out. You're probably using the wrong tools for the job. You probably need some help. I am not a boastful person. I know that I know what I'm doing with respect to the market, but it pretty much ends there. I don't know a lot of other things about a lot of other things, but I've paid my dues. Decades, millions of dollars at play, close to $1 million in losses over the time frame of learning it. It ain't easy. I don't care how well we can lay this out for you. We can do it in a simple manner. We try to keep it simple, concise, informative. We change when and as the market changes. We lay it out clearly and concisely, as briefly as possible, yet giving you all the pertinent information you need. But I never said easy. Trading is not easy. But what's the hardest part? Figuring out where the market's going next. What's the second hardest part? Managing your trades. Okay? So I'm doing the part of reading the market. This is not me. This is not my stuff. This is the market's stuff. I'm not that smart where I have the market figured out. Nobody's smarter than the market. But I do have how to read what the market is telling us figured out. And it's not what you think it's about. And unfortunately, for everyone who has spent countless hours, countless years, countless money reading all the garbage that passes for quote-unquote knowledge as to the market, it's a waste of time. You know, we all start down this path of, I want to know more. I'm intrigued by the market. I can see the moves. I can see the potential to make gobs, just ungodly amounts of money. That's what we got interested in the first place, is the upside potential of the market. So we start down this road and we figure out, well, you know, I don't really know a lot. So you start studying. Somewhere along the line, someone that you knew, that you followed, that you found on the internet or whatever, puts you on a path that doesn't lead to market understanding. Happened to me too. Okay, so I'm not speaking from a high and mighty point. I'm drawing parallels to your journey and my journey, which has been one of frustration, one of enlightenment, followed by frustration. What does the enlightenment come from? Reading about some new tool. And it may not be new altogether, but it's new to you. And that might be, it might have been moving averages in the beginning, and RSI and stochastics and MACDs and Williams percent R, and then it goes to, other overbought, oversold indicators and Fibonacci's and Gann and Gartley models and, market profile and volume studies and blah, 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 blah. It's all a load of crap. Why? We don't use any of those, and yet we're telling you ahead of time, more or less to the tick, all the way around where the market's going. Why? Because I'm a really good guesser? I don't think so. It's because we're looking under different rocks, for lack of a better term, than you are. You're looking under the ones the market told you to, or the stuff you studied told you to look under. And unfortunately, the market doesn't work that way. If it did, you'd already be killing it using that stuff. And I don't think you are. I don't think you know anybody that is. Oh, I know a guy. I know a guy. Remember that line from Ocean's 11, right? You want anything to happen done to her? I know a guy. Anything happens on the east of the Mississippi, he's on it. And what's his name? Not Garcia. The guy who does the Capital One commercials. You know a guy, right? Okay, we all know a guy. You know the guy. That friend of yours, that friend that knows your sister's wife's brother's cousin, who played golf with a guy, who heard about a guy that's brother's uncle once made some money with a guy who claimed that he, you know the story, right? It's a bunch of crap. And here's the acid test. Doesn't matter if you stay here, doesn't matter if you leave, doesn't matter what you do for the rest of your trading career. Here's the acid test, because there's always one bozo that claims he made the big trade, right? I'm not mentioning any names. I did not specifically bring up T. Boone Pickens, the oil man who made more money in natural gas than he did in oil. He lost about $700K in oil, but I didn't mention him. What I said was there's always one bozo that claims to have made it, big time in this trade or that trade. But here's the thing. If you're in any game, any business, you're going to have one that falls in your lap. But the acid test is, can you do it again? And again, and again. All right, we do this 10, 15 times a day. That's 50, 75 times a week, 200-300 times a month. We're going to have a trade every now and then that doesn't work out, but what's our risk? Point and a half? If you want to capture everything that's there all day, every day, you've got to be a proactive trader. What is a proactive trader? It starts from the whole mindset, from the time you wake up in the morning. It starts from how you think about and how you approach the market. Now, when I talk about retail traders, I'm not casting aspersions. I'm not demeaning anyone. It's just a differentiation. It's a classification, not a condemnation. So when I talk about retail traders, it's people that have been or are or were doing something else that got intrigued by this market thing and started playing on their laptop or on their PC at home and studying at night and all this other stuff. Okay, you're easing into it, great. A pro trader eats, sleeps, and breathes trading, wakes up to trade, trades size, hits it hard, markets close, he's off doing something else because he knows it's a job. He comes in to do his job. So the mindset is completely different. It's different for a guy who does, I say guy, girl, doesn't matter. For a person who does this and a person who wants to do this. So where the problem starts is from the person who wants to do this, they get led down the wrong path. It's not your fault. It's the fault of whoever put you on that path, because it's a path that doesn't lead to understanding. It leads to frustration. What happens then is, as you go through your journey of learning about the market and you keep experimenting with stuff, that when you read about it, it sounds great. But when you put it into practice, it doesn't work. Why? Because it doesn't work. Yeah, but I read, okay, that's the difference between theory and reality. In theory, should perform miracles, right? In reality, doesn't quite work that way. Okay. What happens as a result of that, every time you go back to the drawing board, your search digs deeper to find that nugget, to find that thing you're missing. I can't tell, I hear it every week. I think I'm really close. You don't even know how much you don't know if that's the path you're going down. It's silliness. It really is. And it's not your fault. It's the fault of whoever put you on that path. I'm telling you, there's an entirely different path. Okay? So back to my original point. The difference between retail traders and pro traders is quite simple. Retail traders are still hoping to find something that they can hang their hat on. So every trading decision has a huge question mark, and it's prefaced with whether or not to trade that trade. With pro traders, we trust and understand the market. We're trying to be excellent, we're experts, but we never said perfect. There's no such thing. So traders who are trying to be perfect are losers. You got to realize you're not going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. The market's made up of people. There's no perfect people. People are interacting with the market and causing these price levels and moves. So you can't expect the market to be perfect. So perfection is an illusion. We can hit it to the tick, bang, bang, bang. That's great. That just makes our job easier. But it isn't going to stay like that. There'll be kooky days. There'll be days where, you know, you have to take 2 or 3 swings at it to get it done, because it's just like that sometimes. We had one little area like that yesterday. Morning was great. Afternoon was great. Late morning, early afternoon, I said, don't go crazy here. This doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a little bit kooky, choppy logic. But I'm pointing that out in the beginning. So to pull this all together, and so we can get on with talking about the market and what we did today, etc., I guess the summarization would be retail traders, because they don't trust the market, are still focused on whether or not to trade, whereas pro traders are here to trade, and their only focus is where. It's not a question of whether or not, where. And where means give me a specific level near which, not at which, near which I can interact with the market to keep my risk small and capture the move. So every one of our posts basically has a beginning and an end, something that will change our mind or a risk parameter, a direction, a timing factor if that's appropriate, and an ultimate game plan. So we're trading from here to there. It's not a question of whether or not, it's just do it. We're trading from here to there, by when, with a factor that would change our mind. So that is the mindset of where. I don't want anyone scanning the post. Just give me the numbers. Just give me the numbers. Forget all that other stuff. No, 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 no. The story is important. What's going to happen first? Are we going to bounce first, then pull back, and then if we lose a level, it dumps later? Are we going to have small pullback here, pre-market or on report or whatever? We killed it on the report. On Friday's report, we just killed it. I said before the report that we'd pop a bit, and we did. I posted at 8 o'clock that on the 8:30 report, use 14.19 as support for 14.41 quarter ultimate target. We should use 14.19 at 8 o'clock on the report. And the pullback on the report was 14.19 and a quarter. Translation, we had a quarter point risk and caught the whole rip up from 19 and a quarter to 41 quarter plus, and caught every pullback rebuy in between there. Today, same thing. I mapped this out. I had to go to a meeting, to a closing at a bank, and I mapped it out ahead of time, and it still played out. Why? Because when you understand how the market works and how it generates the information that it does, you will come to see that you can trust it, that you can hang your hat on it, that you can interact with it no matter how much size you're trading, and keep the risk small and still capture everything that's there all day, every day, provided you leave you, your ego, your thoughts, your wishes, your desires at the door when you log on in the morning. I promise you, if you do what's posted, you will far outperform what you want to have happen. If you trade according to your P&L, which is nothing more than I want this, I'm happy with that, I'm going to exit here because that's good enough for me, you're not maximizing the day. You're not maximizing your screen time. You're cutting yourself short. You're cutting your profits short. You're cutting your abilities short. Okay? So rule number one, what we try to get people to do is not trade, not even in demo. Why? Because you can't take a golf lesson in the middle of a golf tournament. Think about that as a metaphor. Think about how silly that would be. Your instructor's going to keep setting balls up. Okay, hit it again, try it again. You take 8 shots at the same hole, you know, you're going to hold everyone up while he's explaining something to, I mean, you couldn't do it, right? You wouldn't play well, and you probably wouldn't learn anything because you're focused on the results of the tournament. Same thing with trading, even in demo. In order to trade well, you have to understand the posts, frontwards, backwards, inside out, without any ambiguity of that understanding. In order to understand the posts, you have to see them. You have to see how the market interacts with the levels that we gave you ahead of time. You will see, I hope, and you certainly should before you go on, you will see that it's like a game of connect the dots. You will see that those dots get connected. Without question, they get connected. And we're giving them to you ahead of time. So you don't have or need any indicators. I want you to just have a simple 5 minutes chart like I have here on your screen to watch, because the goal is to put the lines on the screen of where the market will go, not some lagging indicator that tells you after the fact. That's useless. I say all the time, I can get a 5-year-old to point at the low of the day and say should have bought here, and point at the high of the day and should have sold there after the fact, but it doesn't do me any good and it doesn't make me any money. All it does is get me frustrated. But if you have that beforehand, now you've got something. Now you can use it. So I guess the anxiousness of I got to trade, I got to trade, I got to trade. So look, how long have you been trading? A year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years? You can't take a week, 2 weeks, and put that on hold? This is your career. This is your life. This is your family. This is your money. Isn't it worth it to get in sync, to get it right, to be able to ramp up your size? You say, I'm working my backside off here, trading my 1 lot or my 3 lot or whatever. Okay, well, how come you don't have 30 on? How come you don't have 100 on? How come you don't have 300 on? Because you don't trust the market and you don't trust yourself. I'm going to prove to you, I'm going to show you and prove to you that you can trust both. It doesn't happen in 5 minutes. It doesn't happen in 5 days. But you've got to start somewhere. How badly do you want this? I will help you get there. We, as a team, myself, Moderator B, admin, we will help you get there. There are countless videos now on our website and on our YouTube channel that you need to review, especially the ones on the website, the ones that pertain to entries and exits, the one that pertains to trading pad, which is the best way to take notes, the one that pertains to normal versus aggressive. Those are must-sees. If you don't see those, you will be lost. They're not long, a couple minutes each. Some of them may be 5 or 10, some 2 or 3. They're not long. But how badly do you want this? I can't wave a magic wand or wiggle my nose and make you get this. I can't pour it in your head. Excuse me, you've got to do a little bit of work. Meet us halfway. You don't even have to meet us halfway. I'll meet you more than halfway. But I can't do it for you. I can't click your mouse. And I can't pour it in your head. But all the tools that you need to understand this from a completely different perspective are all there, and I suggest strongly that you avail yourself of them so that you help yourself understand this and realize it can be done this way. You can capture everything that's there all day, every day with small risk. Now, that doesn't mean one trade. That's the other problem retail traders have. They think in unicorns and pots of gold at the end of rainbows. That's just fantasy. I want to click once and make 10 points. I want to click. Why don't you just plan on clicking once and make $1 million? That would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Be like winning the lottery, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah. What happens to lottery winners? They're all broke or worse later because they didn't earn it. Okay? You got to do a little bit of work. I can lay it out for you, but I can't do it for you. And I don't want to. And I don't think you should want me to. But I will bring you along. I'll help you. If you follow our posts, I promise you, I won't let anything bad happen to you. But you can't start John Wayne in it. You can't make up your own trades. You can't put your own spin on things. Why? Nobody's smarter than the market. The information that we are posted is unvarnished, comes directly from the market and what the market's telling us at the time. That's why we can get in sync with and stay in sync with the market all day, every day, regardless of what kind of market we have, regardless of what it's doing. Choppy day, range-bound day, breakout day, breakdown day, reversing up, reversing back down, doesn't matter. We'll get it with small parameters and capture all of it. Why? Because we're not doing what you were doing. We are in sync with the market. We know how to read it. We're taking a completely different approach. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to trust me. You don't have to anything. Sit there, write down everything we post. Watch long enough until you're convinced. We have these sessions to answer questions. If you want to join us, we're happy to have you. Be glad to help you. Okay? I've got a couple things posted here from a couple people, and then I'm going to toss it over to Moderator B, and he will show you on his charts of what he had recorded for the day based on the posts that we made. So Ron Duell says, I believe the saying is even a blind pig finds an ear of corn once in a while, referring to knowing a guy. Exactly. I've never heard that one quite that way, but that's awesome, Ron. Thank you. Actually, that's the only one I have. Okay, let me tell you about Moderator B. Those of you in Silver and Up know him. Those of you that have been here for a week or more know him. Moderator B was exactly where you are sitting. He came through the free trial, joined the Silver Room. He's been in the Silver Room for about a year. He is not regurgitating what I'm telling him to say. This is his own, he's a grown man, very nice guy, very intellectual guy, but he went through the same journey that you went through. And the reason that we have this way with his input is because he's not me giving it to you. He's sitting next to you. He's sharing the same experiences that you are. He sat in the Silver Room for a year before he took on this role. So all of the learning that you're going through or going to go through, he went through. So, and you're free to ask him whatever you like. You're free to ask me anything you like anytime, and we're here to help. So the best way to do this is to ask clarifying questions. By clarifying questions, I mean not what you think you see, but questions that will help you understand what we're trying to show you, what we're trying to demonstrate, what we're trying to teach you, and the way that we do things, which is most likely slightly different, maybe vastly different than what you're used to doing, which is fine. So without further ado, I'm going to toss it over to Moderator B, and he's going to show you his charts and explain it. He's in both the free trial and the Silver Room. Like I said, he was in the Silver Room for a year. And anyway, I'm sorry, I was clicking on having him show his screen. So he can help you understand what he's done and what he's got on his charts and the way he records things, which is in keeping with what we do, just slightly different style of doing it. In any event, Moderator B.
Hi guys, thanks HT. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sorry, I shut off my mic because I was taking a drink of water. Absolutely, you look fine. Now, we've got some brand new people here, so you might want to explain what your chart is, where it comes from, and what the squares and ovals are, because we've got people that have never seen that yet. Please.
Yep, not a problem. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the free trial room. Some of you guys that have been here a while, this is getting to be a little bit old hat. You've kind of maybe sat through one of these free trial sessions, and you're chomping at the bit to get into the silver room, and we look forward to working with you over there. For those of you that are brand new, as HT mentioned, I was exactly where you're at. I spent a couple weeks in the free trial room, and actually I only spent about a week. I knew after a couple days of watching this, I thought, there's no way on this green earth that a person could hit these levels like HT did for like 3 days in a row, the days I was there, and I was like, okay, there's something to this. So jumped into the silver room and decided to continue on with my education and learn how to trade like a pro. So I'm here basically to take some of the time pressure off of HT during the day, because we want him to be focusing on the market and reading the market. And when he types something and there's a typo, or somebody is not really sure, needs a post clarified or something like that, I will be able to help out with that so that he can spend his time reading the market and telling us as the market gives the levels to him. He will forward those on to us. So that's my purpose, and I'm here to help, and I'm glad to be of some help. Normally what I do on the silver room chats on Tuesday and the free trial room chats on Wednesday is I'll throw my chart up so that you can see the trades that I interpreted from HT's posts. And I'm going to move my chart over, so you might see some blurriness here for just a second, but I'm going to get to the beginning of the day first of all, so that I can explain to you a little bit about what you're seeing. HT starts the posts at 8 a.m. You need to be here at 8 o'clock before that, so you can log in, get your chart set up, open up a 5-minute chart. You can either use bars or candlesticks. It really doesn't matter. I use bars, and that's what you're seeing here. And then as HT starts the day and begins the posts, you can, at that point, and you really should be, if you haven't done it already, watch the trading pad video, entries and exits, all of the videos on the website that pertain to this basic knowledge of what we do, along with all the abbreviations, because that will help you understand what HT is saying, because he's conveying to us in a very short number of words what the market is telling him, and we then are trading from that. So when you look at my chart, what I've done is all the gray solid lines are the levels that he posted in the morning. My dotted lines are levels that he says is a breakout level or is a minor breakout for a higher or lower level. My thicker dotted lines are a breakout for next leg up or next leg down, that type of thing. And my yellow or amber line in the middle of my chart here is today's number. So I'll always have today's number on the chart. So when HT starts posting in the morning, you need to put the numbers on your trading pad, try to figure out the story based on the context of the levels that he gives, put that on your trading pad, and then transpose those levels to your chart in the form of lines. And you can color the lines different colors if you want to. Put the ones, when we start out trading, when he started posting these levels, we were right here. We were trading right here. And let me get rid of this green color. So that's where we were at, the market was at when he started making the posts. Okay, so then you start putting your lines on the chart, and you can make your lines colored lines for blue lines for green lines for below for for either taking profit or entering a long trade. You can put lines above where we're trading as red lines if you want, or amber rust colored lines or whatever for either taking profit on an up move or entering a short sale or whatever based on the context of the posts. I prefer to have all of my lines one color because when I trade below those lines and come back up to it, the color doesn't mean anything anymore if I'm saying it's for green is for buying or whatever. So I just prefer that. You can kind of play with that how you want, but the basic tenet is you need to read the posts, understand, and it takes a few days to really understand what he's trying to say with the wording of the posts, and we understand that. It takes time. There are 4 levels of rooms that are getting all these posts, besides the free trial room. All level of traders are reading the exact same posts. And so there's very, very advanced traders and there's very, very beginning traders. And the posts are made in such a way that we can understand what the market is telling HT based on how he words the posts. Okay, so then as the market trades down to a line, I will put a box, usually a blue box for a buy zone, or a red box or pink box for a sell zone. And as you move into the silver room, I've done a video that I go through kind of a 10-step process that I went through to help me progress from knowing nothing and trading all wrong to learning how to trade the right way, the way HT teaches us. And so once you get into the silver room, actually I think it's available, you can watch that video on the website now under the blog area, but I go through a 10-step process on how to train yourself to move one step closer, one step closer. And part of that is using your trading pad, reading the posts, understanding the story, putting the lines on the chart in the morning, and then you're not trading, but you just put the boxes on the lines where you think you would be entering a trade, blue for long, red for short, and those boxes then watch as the market goes into those boxes and trades into those boxes, and then in your head you say, okay, if it trades into that box, then I would be long. Okay, now what? And then you can watch videos on the website that talk about stops and how to manage trades and the different no higher than, has to hold levels, breakout levels, breakdown levels, and all that kind of stuff. And then you'll kind of look at your chart and you'll go, okay, so that was a breakout level, so this, okay, now I see what he was trying to say. He was saying we're going to break out, but then when the market pulls back a little bit, that's where we're going to enter long. Okay, so it all starts to gel together once you get the levels on the chart, the lines on the chart, and then start putting, once you understand that, understand the story, then you can move on to the next step and say, okay, where would I enter if I was going to enter, and put your boxes on there. So that's why you see all these boxes here. Those are boxes that I interpreted from the posts of where a trade would originate. Okay, and I'll talk more about these as we go along here. And then these little green ovals, and they may not come through as green on the screen, but they're these small little ovals. Those are first TSPs, second TSPs, and further taking profits. So whenever for example, this blue box was an entry, we entered long here, and we took it up to this level, and HT said, take some profit. And if you watch the videos on the website, we know that if you're trading multiple contracts, which you aren't as a free trial member, but as you progress and you get into multiple contracts, let's say you're trading 3 contracts, you would take 2/3 off, or 2 contracts off, at this level of 36 3/4. So a tick or 2 ahead of that, you pull 2 contracts off, and you hold the other one at break even. You move your stop from a catastrophic stop down here. Watch that video on stops, and you move that stop up to break even or plus a tick, and you let the market continue to move until the next oval, which was second profit target, which was right ahead of this breakout area. this minor breakout area. So anyway, that's kind of what my chart, when some of the newer members look at this and they're a little bit confused, you will a little bit understand a little bit more about that. But as free trial members, you really, when I first got here, I was so confused by what I was reading. I didn't understand. I said, why doesn't he have a chart up and show me where the trades are at? Anybody thought that? I think everybody thinks that when they first get here, because that's what everybody else does. The difference is everybody else barely ekes out any profit or loses money, and we average 20 points a day. Now you may not believe that, and that's fine. But as you spend after you've been in the free trial room for a week, you can start to see this and start to see the market turns and how HT talks about the levels and where we should enter, and you can start counting the points that we would be making, and it'll blow your mind. Spend a day and count the number of trades we had and the profit target at first TSP, and it'll blow your mind. So as free trial members, you really have kind of 4 steps. You got to be here long enough. It usually takes a few days to see that HT knows what he's talking about. He knows how to read the market. And that's kind of your first hurdle. Is this guy for real? Does he even know what he's talking about? So that's why we let you look over our shoulder and read the posts. I mean, HT posted these levels, all of these levels at 8 o'clock in the morning. And these levels down here, I'm going to move my chart up. When the market, when he left today and the market was, he said, if the market breaks down, we're going to be, all of these levels down here are going to be available. That was way beforehand. So as you start seeing this, I'm moving my chart back to where we started. So as you start seeing this day in and day out, you'll get to the point where you'll say, okay, I think he knows what he's talking about. At least maybe he got lucky for the 2 days I've been here. Well, then the 3rd day goes by and you go, okay, 4 days, 5 days, and you're like, wow, let me at the silver room. Anyway, so be here long enough to understand that HT knows how to read the market. Then you got to learn to trust the post. You got to understand the story. So you got to read the website. You got to go to the website. And what I did was I pulled up the abbreviations, and I made a screenshot of all the abbreviations. I printed them out and I pasted them right by my monitor. So when he posted B/D, when he posted 1633 quarter B/D. B/D, what the heck is B/D? And I'm looking up here, oh, breakdown. Breakdown, okay, so if it goes below that, it's going to break down lower. Got it. Okay, and TN, he posts something about TN. You can take your first trade at TN. What is TN? What is TN? So I look up on my list and I go TN. Oh, that's today's number. Oh yeah. Okay. So he can put out these a sentence, and we got about 3 paragraphs worth of information because we use abbreviations. And as you get longer in here, you'll understand that, and you'll really like it once you become an advanced trader, because you don't have to read 14 lines of text. Okay, so you got to trust the post. Go ahead.
Can I interject here one thing? Yes,
absolutely.
I agree with everything you said. When people first come, the single biggest comment that we get is, why can't you do it this way? Meaning the way that they would like to see things because it makes sense to them. That's how so-and-so does it. That's how I've always done it in the past. And okay, you're giving me a list of losers. If whatever room you were in did it that way and you're not there anymore, it's because you weren't making any money. If you've been doing it that way yourself and you're not making 7, 8 figures from the market, then you're not doing something right. What we do is not easy, it's not simple, and it's not in accordance with how retail traders think. It is, however, in accordance with how pro traders think and how the market behaves and how the market generates the information that it does. So I can't, and again, I don't mean to insult anyone. That's not my point here. It's just the concept. Always think in concepts, not absolutes. I can't dumb it down to make it red light, green light. We've got too many. I've been doing it this way for too long, and we've got too many traders trading decent size that are in sync with this, because once you get up to speed, you'll want it done this way, because you're changing, your thinking will have changed, and it will be in sync with the market and how the market behaves. You'll be getting on the market's page instead of expecting or wanting the market to get on your page. I think that's a huge distinction. We do things the way the market works, the way the market does them, the way the market generates them, not the most convenient way for someone new to this would want it done. That's the difference. Think about Tiger Woods. Think about taking Tiger Woods to a putt-putt course, you know, with the windmill going around or whatever, and you say, okay, what my family and I do when we come here, he'd look at you like you were from Pluto. Okay, think about that, right? As opposed to if you went out with Tiger Woods, he'd be talking about terms and things that he and his caddy have worked out for distance, wind, lie, club, blah, 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 in abbreviated, high-tech fashion that works. You go, okay, but when I go out with my family, I like to do it this way. Can you talk to me this way? He'd go, no. All right, you want to golf? You want to be on the PGA Tour? How about you get with the program? All right, and again, I don't mean that in any condescending way, but that's the mindset. That's the mindset. Everybody who comes, how come you don't have sound? How come we can't see charts? How come I don't have pretty colors and things to entertain me? You know, it's like, dude, you here to make money or do you want to be entertained? You know, this isn't The Simpsons. This is, you know, real guns, real bullets with respect to the market and your money. Okay? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just thought that was an important thing to interject at that moment. By the way, I noticed on your chart, your lower line there was 1609. I had given that early on as a sort of a target area. Later, when I came back, I said the actual target is 1609.50. You should be able to find that in the post, so you need to move that line. Sorry. Oh, it is there now. Oh, you had a longer one from earlier. Yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah, see, I always, and this is one of the things I teach on that other video, is when HT posts a level, that's the time that I start that line, and I'll put the line on here. So as you can see, he said that 1609, if we break down through this, and this was right before he took off for his meeting, he said about 1050, he said if we break down through 24.5, then this level, this level, this level are all potentially good levels based on further posts. And then he revised that later and said 1609.5, which is why I started this line here. So that's why when you look at my chart and you see lines starting at different times, that's why. And it'll make sense the longer you're here.
Okay, perfect. Could you scroll that back up so we can see the entire move down just like you had it a minute ago?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. One quick note. Look at the gray lines that Moderator B has on his screen, and look at the green ovals off to the left and the red squares and all of that. Look at how, this is a perfect example of connect the dots. Look at how the market interacted with all of those levels that you had beforehand. See how it went down and stopped at each one, bounced from here, bounced up to there, came back. Every one of the TSPs was certainly filled and done and all that kind of stuff. That's what I mean. That's what I want you to see on your charts. So please, as Mod B said a little bit ago, go look at that video, Trading Pad, meaning we use a full-size pad off of which to trade. We take notes on that pad in handwriting, and I know it's archaic and all that, but that's the best way to learn this. Then you transpose those levels onto your chart. You've got the lines. I highly recommend doing what Moderator B just said about starting the line at more or less the time that I gave that post, But look at how the market interacted. It's almost like we bracketed it afterwards.
So let me pull this back. I want to just talk about, finish my introductory story here. But so you got to be here long enough to trust that HT knows who he's talking about. You got to trust the post, because you'll come to realize that the posts are the market. And that's my second point, is you got to get to understand the story. So you got to know the abbreviations. You got to read the posts over and over again. Okay. And then number three, as a brand new person just looking at this wondering, is this for me or not? But number three is you got to be willing to cut everything away and learn how to trade the way we trade. Because we trade, chances are probably pretty good that we trade way different than most everybody that comes through this free trial room has ever traded. Because we don't use indicators. HT posts the levels ahead of time, and we trade from the levels posted based on the context of the posts that HT tells with the story of the posts. Okay, so we don't use indicators. We don't use all of the stuff you're used to using. We don't look for the market to set up. We don't look for the market to do something first before we trade. We trade from the posts, from the levels, right out of the gate. And if you look at this morning we were trading right here, and HT posted a minor breakout level and then a major breakout level for the next leg up, or for higher targets. And we didn't know, at that point, we really didn't know if the market was going to test that level first and then go up through here, or if it was going to come and pull back first. We didn't know, because we were trading right in the middle there. Okay, but then we had today's number, and he gave that as the first level, and if that level doesn't hold, then 1633.5 would be the next level, 1633/1633.5. And if that level didn't hold, there's another scenario for 1631. Okay, but that's a little bit more advanced. You can watch that video on how to utilize the lines down the road. But you got to get to the point where you're willing to cut. You're willing to, okay, willing to take the indicators off your chart and sit and watch the levels. Put your trading pad together. Put your lines on your chart. Read the posts and understand the story that HT is telling, and watch as they interact with the lines. That's the hardest part about this whole thing in the free trial room, is because I know everybody does it, and not everybody does it. I did it. I'd look over here at this chart with all my 15 indicators on it and go, okay, he says I should go along there. I'll look over here and see what they say. Oh, and then all of a sudden over here on HT's area, we're already taking profit 3 or 4 points later, and I'm not even getting in yet because I haven't had enough confirmation on my indicators. So you got to cut that away. You got to just say, okay, I'm relenting to learning how to trade the market the way the market is. Okay, and that's not easy to do. But if you're willing to do it, boy, that's a big step. And then by then you're probably, if you move into the silver room, but by then you basically relax. You put the work in, which is watching the videos, reading the posts, doing your trading pad, putting your lines on your chart, and watching where the entries are, watching for the TSPs, but let yourself grow over time. And boy, I tell you what, if you're willing to do that, just today, if you look at today, and I'm gonna blow your mind here for just a second. We started trading right out of the gate. We were trading right here. HT said if we pull back, we can use this level, or this level, or this level. Well, when it pulls back to this level, we go long. And that trade, as you can see, when we got long right here, it dinked around for 15, 20 minutes and didn't really go anywhere. That did not go the way we thought it was going to go, right? So we took that off. That we would consider a break-even trade. You might even have made something on it, but we consider that a break-even trade. And then we let the market pull back to our next level, and we got long at the next level. And watch the entries and exits video, because really we don't get long at the level. When we say we get long at the level, we mean a tick or two ahead of the level. So we got long here. Here was a 3-point trade right out of the gate, okay? And so you took first TSP right here, about 3 points in, and then if you were holding contracts, you took another TSP at the minor breakout level, possibly, and then we broke through that. HT said we could scalp a short, so we scalped a 1.5 trades short from there, and then he gave us a level to go long, and we took that level from 1635 3/4 back up to the minor breakout level, and then a little bit higher. So we had another positive trade there. We had trades, and then the market came back, pulled back to this 1633 3/4. HT said this has to hold. If we break down below this, then this 1631 level is going to be valid. So what do? If you watch the videos on entries and exits, we enter long right ahead of that level. And you can see I've got dotted lines here because now the market's open, and the market's moving a little bit quicker, and I put dotted lines on here so I know that that's, from a glance, that that's a has to hold or a breakdown type of a level. We got long there, and it went up to almost to here. You had to jump out of that, so you probably got I think I called that a break-even trade when I did my end of the day analysis, but you probably got a point and a half out of that one, or break even. But then you look right here, we broke below that level, and that's not the trade. We do some teaching on this as you become more advanced, but we broke down through that 1633 3/4, so we waited for a bounce up to today's number, and we took that trade down to there. So if you follow all of my boxes like that throughout the day, this is going to blow your mind. We had 1638 1/4 was the top, down to about 1610. So we had about a 28-point range today. Pretty much other than this little move up, we had kind of a fairly straight down day. Guess how many points? If you were a brand new trader in the silver room and you've progressed through simulation mode and now you're on to trading live one contract, how many points do you think if you took all of these trades and put one contract on at the boxes and took it off at the TSP, or in a case like this, you put one contract on, you managed that trade, it wasn't going anywhere, so you took it off at break even, maybe a tick or two loss. If you did that for today, you had 27.5 points for the day, one contract. And I would do this, and then I would do this every day when we trade this for a while, and I would just blow my mind. So now we get to the middle part of the day, and remember when HT took off for his meeting, he said at just before 11 o'clock, he said 1624.5. If that level holds, we'll be for more bouncing higher. But if that level doesn't hold, if we trade one tick below that level, then these other levels are going to be valid. Remember that? You looked at that. Some of you guys were here all the way from the morning. We broke through that level. We traded back up. We hit it a couple times for short. So we were basically we knew these levels down here were all valid, and we shorted at 1627. We might have hit it here if you wanted to take a short one there. That didn't go very far. But we hit it again here, and we took all these levels became valid as the day went on. And this is what HT was talking about before. It all went all the way down to 1609.50. So if you traded 3 contracts today, okay, if you traded 1 contract, you made 27.5 points, $1,375. If you're progressed through, you've gone through the training, you've gone through simulation mode, you're into live contracts, and you've gone through the 1 contract scenario that we've mapped out. We've got a whole training process for this, and now you're trading 3 lots. What do you think you made today? How many points? 3 lots. If you take two lots, because we teach, take 2/3 of your contracts off at first TSP, and then take the next TSP, you took the last one off. With 3 lots, you'd have 91 points today. If you traded all of the, if you were here all day and sat in front of there and traded them all. 3 lots, you made $4,550 today. And I didn't count, and look at this afternoon, right? We broke down through here. When HT got back from his meeting, it was, the market was bouncing up. When HT got back from his meeting, he gave us that level right there as a sell, so we took that one. But even later, he said we could hit it again with small risk. Even if you were waiting up here, I didn't even get this trade. It didn't come up. I had my sell order in at 6.5 up here, and it didn't get there. I missed this leg. I didn't count this leg right here. I did not count this in my daily count. So some of the more advanced traders got that, but if you even without that, I had to wait till we got down here and got above bonus money and sold this leg and this leg down here. And I also didn't even count this last part because I had to go out, head off for a meeting. So even without that, we made 91 points today with 3 contracts. And so I look at that and I go, okay, let's say it takes me 6 months. Let's say it takes me a year. I don't really know, but at some point I'm going to be trading 30 contracts. If I'm trading 30 contracts on a day like today, all I do is add a 0 onto that $4,500 that I made at 3 contracts. And my mind is substantially blown, right? And so I go, okay, well, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but, you know, can you do it every day? And that's why you're here. That's why you're in the free trial room, because you're welcome to sit here for 2 weeks and watch what we do every day, day in and day out, and your mind will be blown too. I look back at yesterday. Well, if you were here and you put your lines on your chart, look back at yesterday, and we had about 27 points. If you're trading 1 contract, taking the trades at the levels, taking them off at first TSP, we had about 27 points yesterday. But there was about 7 trades that did not work. So you got to subtract those off. Okay, 5 of those, there was probably 4 or 5 of those that you could easily have gotten off at break even. Okay, there was probably two or 3 maybe that you had to take a point loss possibly. So you take 4 points off that 27 and you still walked away with 23 points yesterday. And yesterday was a wacky day kind of in the middle there. So those of you that were here, remember that. So I say that just to blow your mind a little bit, because I look at that every day and I go, this is amazing. Am I willing to change? Not who I am, but change how I think. Am I willing to trade this way? And all I do is add up the points and go, okay, I guess the answer is yes. So anyway, we're glad you're here. We're willing to share with you how to do stuff, and ask us any questions you want. I'm done, HT, if you want to pick it up and cover anything you want, but I'm happy to help however I can, and welcome to all the new free trial members.
Great, thank you. I think your reiterations showing what you did on your chart, which is not me giving it to him, he's getting the same post you are, but that's him being diligent and proactive, putting the lines on, putting the boxes on, and you see the results. I'm not pulling this out of thin air or my backside. The market's giving it to us, which is why you can trust it. It's not indicator-based. It's not software-based. It's not some algorithm or some cockamamie thing that somebody invented. It's looking at the market the way the market is, not how we would like it to be. The 2 points that I want to make from Moderator B's little spiel here is twofold. One is, just to reiterate, the break is not the trade. The break is the hint. People ask me all the time, how come you don't have alarms? Okay, if you're writing stuff down and a level's supposed to hold and it doesn't hold, that's your alarm. Not to immediately click, but that's sort of an action alert. Okay, it broke. Now what? Now, you know, this support level held. Okay, we're going to sell a bounce here. This resistance broke. Okay, we're going to wait for the pullback and buy it here. Or, some advanced traders can trade it both ways, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So the break is not the trade, it's the hint. It's the notification that that scenario that we had outlined prior to the break is no longer valid. Now, the new scenario is, and I'll have that mapped out for you ahead of time, okay? And secondly, yes, yesterday was not the prettiest trading day we had, so that's a lousy day for us. When we say you should be able to make an average of 20 points, I want to be clear on one thing. Let's take a number way away from the market just so that we're on the same page. If you bought one contract at 1600 and you sold it at 1601, you took 1 point out of the market. If you bought the market at 1600 with 100 contracts and you sold it at 1601, you still just took a point out of the market. Yes, the dollar equivalent is greater because of the size traded. See how you make more with size? Okay. But you still just took a point. When we talk about 20 points, that means from here to there points. You multiply that according to size traded. So we're talking, just to speak generically, about points taken out of the market, not as it relates to size. That's just points taken. 20 points with a 1 lot, 20 points with a 100 lot. Just do the math. It's more money. And that's why that whole fretting over this tick or that tick drives me nutty. Okay, and then one other thing, Moderator B was talking about setups. That's my biggest pet peeve. Stops is my second biggest pet peeve. My biggest pet peeve is people who say, well, we're waiting for the market to set up. If you need the market to set up before you do anything, you don't get it. And you don't get that you don't get it. I'm not talking about anyone here. I'm talking about the people that give out knowledge or what passes for guidance. I mean, that's just stupid. If that's the best you can do, that's horrible. All right, one more thing I want to show you. Let me change back to my charts here. I pulled up a chart while Moderator B was talking. This is old chart. There's one in the background. This new one here is ESU3. You can see there's a 5 3/4 point difference between old contract, June contract, and SEP. So it's going to be 5 3/4 point lower. So make sure you change your stuff. If you have your chart, you should be able to just left click on it and type in, if you're using Q charts, it's ES space U3. Otherwise, if you're using something else, you have to find the code. I don't know them all, but ES is for E-mini S&P, U is September, and 3 is for 2013. If you ever want to know, I mean, some commodity contracts change every month, but ES changes every quarter. Just think of hummus, like ground chickpeas, HMUZ. That'll keep it in your brain there, front and center. So H is March, M is June, U is September, Z is December. So it's HMU, and 3 is for 2013. Because you could pull up a contract on March of 2014, which would be ESH4. But we want to stay current with what we're trading. And whenever a new contract becomes new front month, that gets all the volume. Maybe not so much at 8 o'clock, but by the open it will have all the volume. The old one still trades for another week, but there's no sense in doing that. We want to go with current front month. That gets all the push. That gets all the volume. And don't forget to change over your execution platform. When you open it tomorrow, it should open on SEP contract. If it doesn't, make sure you're on the same page. You don't want to be looking at a June chart with a September execution or vice versa. So all the levels posted tomorrow will be in September. So change over tonight, and don't forget to save the changes. Okay, that's called the difference in forwards. It's just because of where this index is traded. It has nothing to do with the future, has nothing to do with the contract, has nothing to do with, foreseeing the future. It's just what they're called. They could call them banana options. It doesn't matter. It's just a unit of measure. Okay, any questions for me or for Moderator B? Questions, comments, topics, clarification? Rick H. I'm so dyslexic if you haven't been able to tell by now. Rick H. asks, who do you use for clearing? We use primarily AMP. We use primarily Global Futures. Kirk Tamamian, K-I-R-K, Kirk Tamamian at Global Futures is our contact there. You can tell him you're here in Leading Edge Trading Room. He will give you a better price. Obviously, it's going to depend on account size and volume size. Price goes down, but he is a principal. He is not a broker, so he can make the decisions. He doesn't have to ask anyone. So Kirk Tamamian, Kirk T at Global Futures, globalfutures.com, and we clear through AMP. We look at Weiss ratings for banks. We look at Atlas ratings for clearing firms to make sure they're doing okay. If you'd like, next week I can pull it up and look at whoever you are currently clearing through and look at their Atlas rating just to make sure you don't get in trouble and get backwards, upside down with them, because if they're going out of business, they're going to take your money with it. Let's see here. What else we got? Mike Carroll says, thanks, HT and Mod B. See you in the AM. You as well. Did that answer your question, Rick? They have their own platform, too, which not this one, the last one they had, the one that this was derived from, I helped them develop back in 99, 2000, something like that. So we've got a long-standing relationship. He's a great guy. But they have a platform called, I think it's Global Zen now, that's free. It's their own in-house. I mean, they're a pretty good-sized firm. So they have some software guys, generated their own stuff. I haven't heard anything bad about it. It's good. It's fast. I have a bunch of people using it. No complaints. I run TT on a VPN myself, but that's overkill. I think they get $650 a month or something like that for that. But based on the volume that we do, I don't have to pay anything for it. Probably shouldn't have told you that. Anything else? Bueller? Anyone? Okay then. I guess we'll call that an evening. You're welcome, Maria. All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. If you have any questions that come up over the course of the next few trading days, after 11 at some point, I always get one nervous guy that 11:00:01 starts posting. Is it time for questions? Is it time for questions? Some people don't even wait till then. At some point, and it pertains to the market, when the market says, it's okay, we ask for questions. We'll try to do as much as we can intraday, but I don't want to lose focus on the market. Not for me, not for you, not for Moderator B, and not for anyone else in the room. So we'll keep them simple explanations during the day. Otherwise, save up your questions, and literally I'll spend as much time as it takes to make sure that you understand whatever it is you want to understand going through. That's what these sessions are for. Eduardo says, thank you, and HT and Mod B. See you in the AM. You too. Gazmaster says, thanks, HT, Mod B. Great session. You're welcome. Mark R. says, awesome, HT. See you in the AM. You too. Brian B. says, thanks for the overview, HT and Mod B. You're welcome. Westy says, thanks. You're welcome. Just keeps it simple. THX. Surprised you put the H in there. Just, All right, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you at 8 a.m. Just have to see where we are in the morning, and don't forget to switch over to September stuff. Have a great night. Thanks for coming. See you then. Thanks, Mod B.
You bet. See you guys.